Welcome to the Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. If you're looking to get more out of your Shenandoah Valley experience, then this is the podcast for you. You'll meet interesting people, the comedians that perform here, and find out more about what you can do and see. Whether you live here or plan to visit, listen to explore what helps make up our unique slice of heaven. Now here's your host, Dawn Davis Womack.
Hello, Laughers. I'm thrilled to introduce you to some amazing change makers from HDR, aka Harrisonburg Downtown Renaissance. HDR is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that builds up Harrisonburg's downtown district to a destination where businesses thrive and people enjoy memorable experiences through community festivals and events, small business assistance, destination marketing, historic preservations, and beautification projects. HDR creates a special place where people connect with their community. Volunteers, sponsors champion this community-driven organization and donors that help make it all possible. Today on the show, we have Andrea Dono, the executive director, Emily Winter, the director of marketing, Jennifer Bays, the events and special projects manager, and Grace Rothier, their development associate. Welcome, everybody. It's great to have you on today.
Hi. Thank you.
You are welcome. This is so exciting. I am very pumped to have each and every one of you on the show today because HDR was created in 2003 to reactivate the downtown historic district as the economic and social hub of Harrisonburg. Since then, the community has volunteered over 100,000 hours. Over $105 million in private and public dollars have been reinvested. Downtown housing grew from 150 to 600 units. The number of eateries has expanded from 12 to 36 restaurants plus 5 breweries. And the region enjoys the welcoming year-round events. But you all are not stopping yet. And we're going to talk about that today. But before we do, and before we get into it, I'd love for the Laughers to get to know each of you just a little bit more. So I'd like to ask where each of you are from, what brought you to HDR, and for some kicks and giggles, which celebrity do you think each of you look like? So I think we should start with the executive director, Andrea Dono.
All right. Well, so I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and my family moved to Virginia when I was in high school. And I love Virginia, so I stayed, and they moved to Tennessee. So it's me and my dog here in Harrisonburg, and I'd been living in Northern Virginia, actually working at the National Main Street Center, which was the founder of the Main Street 4-point approach that Harrisonburg Downtown Renaissance follows to do our downtown revitalization work. And I was there for 10 years and had gone on to do some other jobs and just really missed it. And so when I got this opportunity to come here in Harrisonburg and do the work that I love, it was a no-brainer. So I was lucky that my board felt that I would be a good fit. And the rest is kind of history in the making, I guess. So I am the worst person to talk to about anything related to popular culture. My team knows that, I know Instagram exists, and Emily probably does a good job with it. I know she does a great job with it. I just I'm not good with those questions because I don't know who famous people are. But when Chelsea Clinton wasn't straightening her hair, some people, when I was living in the DC area, mistaken me for her a few times.
Wow.
So there you go.
Great. Thanks, Andrea. How about you, Emily?
Yeah, so I came to Harrisonburg from JMU. So I'm originally from Chesapeake, Virginia. Came to Harrisonburg to attend James Madison University, go Dukes. And the mountains kind of sucked me in and the culture sucked me in. And I decided to make Harrisonburg my home. So now I live in Broadway, Virginia, and I work in Harrisonburg, obviously. And I just love it so much. It really is like my home away from my original home. And I just love it. And as for celebrities, I've been told I look like Anne Hathaway. I don't know if I 100% believe that, but I'll take it. I'll be Mia Thermopolis. from Princess Diaries any day. Like, I'm totally fine with that.
That's very awesome. Jennifer, how about you?
So I grew up in Harrisonburg, and then I went to college at the University of Central Florida in Orlando. And so I was there for 4 years, and then I worked in Naples, Florida for about 2 years after that. And then I came back here, and I was in DC and Northern Virginia a little bit, and COVID happened, and I started working at HDR part-time for the raffle. And now I've been here for almost 2 years, and I'm the events manager. And celebrity lookalikes. I don't know, maybe if like Drew Barrymore and Jennifer Lawrence, you combined their faces.
I can see half of it. I know who Drew Barrymore is.
There we go. That's a beautiful combo. And how about you, Grace?
So my husband and I moved here last summer from Florida, but I originally grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. So the goal was for us to get back closer to the Midwest. James is from Dover, New Hampshire, so we wanted to get back to the Four Seasons, and landing in Harrisonburg has been such a blessing to absorb these mountains and this lovely town. So we are thrilled to be here, definitely putting down roots, and are happy to stay here for a long time. And as far as how I heard about HDR, when we were living in a hotel last summer, we were Googling things to do in this new town, and the HDR calendar came up. And it was just such great info, being a new person in town, about things to do, what restaurants to try, events to hang out at, and meet new people. So HDR was just an amazing resource for us. And then I volunteered with them at Winter Wonderfest last year, and just fell in love with the work and wanted to put my time towards something that was really going to make a positive impact in this new town. And lucky enough that Andrea said yes to having me on board. So pumped to have this career with this awesome nonprofit. And as far as celebrity, I'm in the same boat as Andrea, because I am also not in the know of celebrities and those things, and not on social media. But when I was younger, when I would introduce myself, people would say, "Oh, you look like Grace Kelly." And I'm not sure if it's because I had the same name, or that's because they actually thought I looked like her. So that's the only reference that I have.
Very good. I love all of those answers. They're amazing. You're an incredible team. You're coming in later after this started 20 years ago. So what did downtown look like, as far as you know, when they started this HDR project?
Yeah, so HDR got started because the community was really tired of having a downtown that was empty and was a former shell of itself. So downtown was the county seat. It was the only game in town. It was the biggest city in the area. And like many downtowns in the United States, strip malls started popping up, malls started popping up, the highway system, certainly after World War II, and people moved back, came back to the United States, they were moving out into the suburbs. So that really had a lasting impact on our historic downtowns. And so luckily, there's a methodology called the Main Street 4-point approach that shows you how to bring back the heart of your community. And after a while, people just kept on saying, like, we need to bring back downtown. And we've had these smaller things happen over the years, but there's no one silver bullet. So someone put an article in the DNR saying that downtown Harrisonburg should have a pedestrian mall like Charlottesville, and everyone took sides, and it became this whole big thing. And luckily it got a group of people together to really intentionally find a methodology, and they found one, and city council agreed with it. So HDR was established by council in 2003.
Yeah, that's really great. And now today, the entire downtown is the destination, earning national recognition as a Great American Main Street Award winner, and HDR as a leader in revitalization. Congrats to all of you and everyone that has supported you to help make this happen. I didn't even know, quite frankly, there was an award for Main Streets. I really did not. But it does make sense, though, when you think about it. So I'm very curious about what all goes into applying for an award like this. How competitive is this award, and what do you win when you get one?
Prestige, you get to say that. Street cred. Main Street cred. Main Street cred. It's a lot of Main Street cred. So you can self-nominate, and that's what HDR did. I think the organization applied for it before any of us were here. I know that they applied twice and got it on the second round. So second time's a charm. And they have a pretty vigorous application. The National Main Street Center does the awards, and they look for various standards of excellence. You have to be a designated Main Street program, which means for a couple of years you've been reaching their accreditation standards. So we have to get accredited every year. So it's just really meeting their standards, but also exceeding it by being innovative and inclusive and successful in what you do. And they also want you to do the 4 points. So if you're an organization that focuses only on economic development, you're probably not going to get it. You have to be equally strong in doing design and historic preservation work, beautification. You have to have good marketing. You have to have good events, and you have to be really good at public-private partnerships and including the community in your volunteer efforts.
Wow. So there's a lot of main streets across America. I assume this award, and this might be you can let me know if it's a good assumption or not. I assume this award is exclusive to America, the United States, or
that's a good question. I don't know. They do have a few international programs, but I can't think of any that have won. So either that's a coincidence or that's by design.
We don't know. But there are several, hundreds, literally thousands of main streets. Yeah. So I imagine this is somewhat competitive.
It is. It's a national competition. And we were just really honored that we were selected.
Yeah, you guys are doing really wonderful work. You invited me last night to the celebration and recognition event. Thank you so much. It was very lovely at the Church of the Incarnation. So inspiring, I felt, to see the plethora of support through collaborations of volunteers, sponsors, and donors that have literally created this momentum that has taken hold and taken root. I'm just got to give you guys so much support and congratulations for that myself too. It's just really incredible. And I understand. You're welcome. I just am in awe. You can see I hardly even have the words to describe it right now. I understand how you do it is using the Main Street 4-point approach, TM. You alluded to that a little bit earlier. Does the TM stand for trademark, and how does this approach work exactly?
Yes, it is a trademark approach, and that was done by the National Main Street Center, which was it was a program of the National Trust for Historic Preservation. So it was formed over 40 years ago when people were calling the National Trust saying, help, our downtown is dying. What do we do? And the National Trust was like, I don't know. Like, we know how to do like historic house museums and landmark buildings, but we've never tried to fix a whole downtown. And so luckily they figured it out, and they figured out that you have to do things comprehensively. So there's no one thing that's going to bring back your downtown. It's going to be multiple things that you do concurrently, incrementally over time, and you do it in partnership with basically everybody who can work with you. So it's a very inclusive process. It's meant to involve community members as volunteers and as your board members and committee members and people who help you do the doing. And it involves getting a lot of support from different groups you can partner with. So it's a really, I think, an elegant approach to bringing the community together towards a common goal. And the results are amazing. There's communities that have been brought back from, complete decline. It's just really wonderful. And, one of the best things you can do is reuse what you already have, right? So why are we building all these new places when we already have a built environment, and the built environment's special? It has history, it has character, and it has embodied energy. So if we're just going to tear down everything and put it in a landfill, like we can't be that throwaway society anymore. And so we really hit all the parts of making our community sustainable through this approach. And I think that's one of the best things we can do in our cities across America. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Yes, and so eloquently too. It was really great. What are the 4 points exactly? The 4-point approach part.
Jargony. So they say it's promotions, design, organization, and economic vitality. We talk about what we do a little bit differently. We like to put it in plain English.
Oh, that's always good. I understand that one. I understand that language. That's good. So how do you guys like to talk about the approach? Is it more like what you just said, or is when you're speaking to someone and sharing it, what does it sound like?
Well, when I'm meeting with new sponsors and new donors who aren't necessarily familiar with the 4-point approach, I like to break it down in the categories of the beautification projects. So the pollinator plants and the sidewalk improvements and the trees to make downtown look and feel beautiful. There's also the historic preservation part, which Andrea is definitely a powerhouse for. We, like she said, try to save our beautiful history that we have instead of tearing down buildings, and try to preserve as much. And then also the destination marketing, which Emily is another powerhouse of a woman at. And that really not only attracts the people that live in the Shenandoah Valley downtown, but also people across the nation. So people are coming and spending their money and taking home some really beautiful handcrafts, whether it's a lovely gift from Oasis or some roasted coffee that's roasted here in Harrisonburg. They're taking that home with them, supporting our businesses, but also leaving with wonderful memories that they can look back on and want to come back to. And then we're also known for throwing a really great party.
Oh, so, heck yeah.
Yeah. So people know us for our wonderful festivals. We have these free events that no matter who you are, no matter what stage of life you're in, whether you're a child or an adult, anyone and everyone can enjoy the festivals. We offer free options, and whether you have a dog that you're bringing downtown or a child, you can find something in every corner of Main Street and Liberty Street and Mason Street to enjoy. So we really try and make sure that the festivals are enriching and that there's options, and that you leave thinking, dang, that was fun, and I want to do it again next weekend.
That's exactly what I say when I leave.
You're our audience. So. And the other piece of that too, Grace hit them all, but the economic development piece is also a part of it, and it's infused in everything that we do. It all goes back to economic development. We just do it in a community-based way. And I think that's one of my favorite parts of the job, is that we get to connect with so many different people. So when we had our celebration event yesterday, we just talked about all the people who we get to work with and celebrate. And I think that's just what really makes it all come together.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I love all that. That's a great lead into what do you each find most rewarding and most challenging about your jobs and in your roles?
I'll go first. So I do the events, and most rewarding would be just like filling downtown with people and hearing feedback from businesses saying like that the event that we produced gave them their best sales day in history, and knowing that that money is going back into Harrisonburg and that we're just creating a great place for people to live. Like, increasing home values, like just making where we are really great and bringing people downtown and being able to be creative and how we do that and how it improves the businesses. And most challenging, I don't know. We have an event, a big festival every season. So I guess most challenging is just that we're a team of 4 and we do a lot, but it's also, as I said, very rewarding. So busy, and that's challenging, but otherwise it's great.
That's good.
Jennifer has to work on her events concurrently. Like she doesn't get to just do one thing at a time. None of us do. But I think that's why I like the job. Like no day is the same. It's never boring. Yeah. We'll take a challenge.
What about you, Emily?
Yeah, from a marketing perspective, what I really love about my job is just telling the stories of our people. So, for example, right now we're working on our Back the Burg campaign, end of the year giving campaign. And right now we are interviewing different business owners and people in our community just to talk about the impact that we've had in the community. And we just got some really cool stories and getting to talk to people personally about their experience in Harrisonburg, how they got to where they are, kind of like how we're doing right now. I just love talking to people and figuring out like where they come from. Like people are just so interesting, and that's been really fun and rewarding for my job. And then I guess most challenging, social media. Fun. So just managing that sometimes can be a little bit of a headache, but you got to take it as it comes, and it's fun either way. But yeah.
People say things differently on a Facebook post than they would.
Oh yeah. That's being different on Facebook. Yeah.
That's true.
How about you, Grace?
Yeah, I think as far as the most rewarding, it's hard to pinpoint one just because this is probably the best job I've ever had in the sense that of how rewarding it is at the end of the night, going home thinking that we've made such a positive impact on the people who live here as a team. It's such a team environment. We all work so well together and can be creative together and support each other. And it's also really cool seeing the event come together and like knowing the back end of all the little layers and all the communication and how the amount of people that we communicate to and seeing it all come together. So seeing the festival day of is pretty awesome, no matter what festival it is. And challenging just as far as my role, just being new in town, meeting people for the first time and trying to get into some in front of different people that may have never heard of HDR or heard of me. But I don't necessarily see that as I find that as a rewarding challenge because I am so passionate about our work. I love giving info and giving the spiel about it. So I think that's a positive challenge in the sense that it's rewarding to get in front of the people I don't know and give them the info that they can get behind too.
That's great. And Andrea, you've mentioned a couple of things you love. Can you share a little bit more about other things that you find rewarding as the executive director and what's most challenging for you?
I think one of the things I love is empowering our team here because everyone here gets to have complete ownership over what they do. We're very much, it's not a top-down organization. So they're contributing to what HDR does and who we are as an organization and as a team. They help set the culture. So I would encourage anyone who's listening, if you have a team, like please work with them. I worked in so many teams where, one person gets to make all the decisions. And I never liked that. And I don't think that's the way you bring out the best of your team. So I think that's the most fun as an executive director, to watch these ladies just be creative and work so well together and just blossom. And, I never want to lose an amazing staff member, but I love that so many people can come to HDR and really grow and become stronger in their careers and then go on to do even better things in the future. So I like that we can incubate some really talented individuals and contribute to the community while we're doing it.
That's great. So there aren't any challenges?
Well, I mean, that would be a separate podcast. I mean, there's nothing but challenges with this job. And I think that's why our work is so important and why we feel so good about it. It's because we take them head on. And there's, little fires that pop up all the time. And, who saw the pandemic coming? Like
oh my gosh.
That was horrible. And so, we really rose to that challenge. And a lot of people saw that we took a leadership position right away. And, we got an award for the work that we did. We worked in incredible partnership with our other economic development partners, which other municipalities were like, how are you guys doing that? And we're like, oh, we just think all ships rise here. We're a small town and we have a lot of social capital and we work so well together that we don't have to come to the table and beg others to join us. It's a no-brainer to say, here's a challenge or a problem or an opportunity. Do you want to work together on it? And the answer is always yes in this town, which is why I love working here. But there's always things to overcome. People still aren't sure about downtown, or they haven't been here for so long that they think it's still the place that it was in the 70s when it was high vacancy and nothing really going on. So, we're still combating some leftover perception issues. We still have people who complain that there's no parking when I can tell you I always find a parking space. So there's still a lot more to be done. And I think, yeah, there are challenges, but it's just part of the job.
Yeah. I think it comes with the territory, and you all are handling them fabulously, making downtown so much more fun with these events that you put on. They're huge and amazing. Can you share with the Lavers what some of those are, what's unique about each of them, and your favorite parts of each of them?
Okay, so we have, in order through the year, Taste of Downtown Restaurant Month, Rocktown Beer Music Festival, Downtown Dinner Party, Best Weekend Ever, the Friendly City Fortune Raffle, Fireworks, Block Party in the Burg, Skeleton Festival, Veterans Parade, Cookie Tour, and Winter Wonderfest. And so that is all HDR. And my favorite event this past year was my first Skeleton Festival, and I've got to say that's my favorite, just because you get to see, it is short. But also we thought that we projected like 3,000 to 4,000 attendees, and we ended up hitting like closer to 6,500. So that was pretty cool to see. And then just like families putting a lot of effort into their costumes was crazy. Like, I don't know, it really gave you hope in humanity. People are still dressing up, having fun. And Winter Wonderfest is also really fun just because we have a horse and carriage, and it's just a joy-filled holiday Hallmark movie of an event.
That sounds lovely. What about you, the rest of you ladies? What are some of your favorites and things that are unique that stand out to you on these events?
One of the ways that I personally got pulled into HDR before I started this position was Cookie Tour. So I was one of those people who were just waiting for the Cookie Tour tickets to come available, because that is just such a fun event. So people who aren't familiar with it, you essentially buy a ticket and you get to pick up a bakery box at the beginning of Winter Wonderfest and go around to a dozen different businesses, pick up a dozen different cookies. So you have this like beautiful, like different just compilation of like treats that are like to celebrate the holidays. And then you get to experience different businesses. So like I remember visiting like several different businesses that I never thought to like walk into before. And they had such cool stuff. And it was just like a really great opportunity. I know. I was like, I just drank the Kool-Aid. I was like, this is so great. but it's a really fun event. It's really impactful for our businesses. And it's just a great way to celebrate the holidays with your loved ones. So that one's always going to be very close to my heart, I think.
Oh, yeah, and that one's coming up here soon in December. So that's exciting. What about you, Andrea?
I think one of the things that I really love about all the events that we're able to use Sip and Stroll in is that we are able to reformat our events to be something different than what they used to be, which was concentrating everyone in one or two different places, corralling them in a small area. And with the pandemic, we couldn't corral anymore. We had to give people free roam of larger outdoor spaces. And I think that really taught us that we have a recipe for success for our events, because we're able to get people to circulate throughout the entire downtown and to see what we have to offer. So if they're visiting or locals that forgot about a certain street they haven't walked down in a while, we bring them, some reminders of what's here in their own backyard. And the Sip and Stroll is a new ABC license that's available in Virginia, where you can buy in a certain area, which is our almost 40 block downtown. You can buy an adult beverage from a restaurant or a brewery or cidery and walk around the festival area with it. And it's just it's such an adult thing to let people do. I mean, responsible adults are able to do that and just mix and mingle and get to hang out with people, enjoy the nice weather, enjoy the activities and entertainment we provide, and then bring that economic development to the community. So we have fewer food trucks. We have more people going to the restaurants, making food purchases, beverage purchases, and then even retail purchases. So I think the events that we're able to do that is really us hitting our stride with how we can combine all the things that we do towards our mission through events.
Yeah, I'm a total fan of the Sip and Stroll.
But not because we get to enjoy it like everybody else. Like we get to be able to walk around with an adult beverage in our hand, and I think all of us kind of long to do that someday. So.
You can't rotate. You can't rotate. No.
It's an all hands on deck for our events, and it's a lot of work. So it's our job to make sure other people have fun. So.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe one day.
Get you a bigger team and then we can rotate people maybe. I don't know. We'll see. That'd be great. What about you, Grace? What are some of your favorites or what you think's unique with the event?
Yeah, I would definitely echo the other three ladies. And just from, again, being a new person in town, seeing the ripple effect of being exposed to these businesses that you may not have been to, and you may not necessarily buy something there on the spot, but you'll remember thinking of, oh, cousin Sally would really like this little gift, and and my uncle Joe Schmo will really want picture. So I think the ripple effect, especially like with a cookie tour too, if you're eating this delicious baked good, whether it's a cookie or a brownie, knowing that you can order from this local bakery in the future. So the long-term impact of the festivals, even for example, Block Party, which is for the JMU freshmen, bringing them just the 20-minute walk in where downtown is their backyard. So exposing them to what's in their backyard for the next 4+ years, that long-term effect, I think, is really powerful. So the day of is always really busy and fun, but I like thinking about the long-term effects of how it helps the businesses continue to thrive and continue to give families and their loved ones a fun place to enjoy.
Yes, that is really all great objectives. And you have another lovely festival coming up at the end of this year. I think it's the last one of the year. It's the Winter Wonderfest. Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Let's talk about Winter Wonderfest and all the lovely things people can enjoy when they decide to come.
Yeah, so Winter Wonderfest is on December 3rd. And we'll have cookie tour that day also. So cookie tour check-in starts at 11 a.m. and goes until 4. And then Winter Wonderfest is noon to 6 p.m. So at noon, the ARC of Harrisonburg and Rockingham County, they have their Santa Run, Walk, and Roll event that they do. It's an annual thing where all of the participants dress up as Santa and they do a run, walk, or roll from City Hall around Court Square and then back. And so that's pretty cool just to like kick off Winter Wonderfest with Santas running through the street. And then we'll have the horse and carriage rides through downtown and a gingerbread house competition, which is pretty cool. Last year, someone recreated Klein's in gingerbread form.
Oh, that's fun.
Tiles and everything. And yeah, just, holiday music everywhere and photo opportunities and holiday shopping, all of the fun stuff.
All the things. All the things, all the festy things. And this is the festivals are free to attend. Is that correct?
Completely free. Yes. Sip and Stroll will be active during Winter Wonderfest. So that's a $3 wristband for 21 plus. But other than that, the activities are free. We'll have airbrush tattoos and face painting and
carolers, hopefully handbells.
Yeah.
Lots of music.
That sounds like
the $3 wristband, that proceeds goes towards paying for that ABC license that Andrea was talking about earlier. So it goes towards the license. It goes towards working with the city to help us with the trash removal. It goes towards making sure that the businesses have their 16-ounce cups and the labels. So it's not just like we're asking for $3 for fun. It actually goes towards making the Sip and Stroll happen, which is really useful.
That's really great. And the streets are kind of closed off so you can sip and stroll. And then they kind of have pub tables out in the streets randomly, not everywhere, but in random spots. And it's really a wonderful time to be downtown is when you all are putting on these amazing fun events. So thank you for sharing that with us. You guys just can't stop having fun from what I can see. I mean, just recently, you all put Harrisonburg in the running for the Levitt Amp Your City Grant Award, where Harrisonburg can get, laughers, if you don't know this, please listen to this number. They can get $90,000 for music concerts downtown. That is so exciting. And speaking of the fun, you have also made a lot of fun social media videos to promote getting votes for HDR. So can you tell us more about this award and who is the brainchild behind the fun videos?
Yeah, so I can take that one. We are very excited. Jeremiah Jenkins approached us with this grant. He kind of put it on our radar. Andrea asked if this is something that we could add to our ever-growing plate, and we just kind of had to kind of go with it because I think like you might have said, or like we might have alluded to, I think live music and live events like this are just really important for our community. People just miss having live music out in the square all the time, and this is a way to kind of bring that programming back. So the first round, so we got selected for, I think it was the top 36 communities in the United States. And then in order to narrow it down to the top 20, Harrisonburg had to put on this campaign to get the community to vote for us, which is where those videos came from. We did an original video with our team out on the field where we are anticipating having this stage. We had a lot of fun just like dancing and talking about this grant program, why we are excited. And then lots of people in our community are also very excited and offered to do videos for us. So we had videos from the mayor. We had videos from Kevin Gibson at VA Momentum. We had the Steel Wheels. Trent Wagner did one for us. And a lot of really great people in our community really stepped up and helped us with these videos to help campaign to vote for Harrisonburg. And because our community was so excited, those videos worked so well, we were actually number one for the majority of the voting competition. There was one small window of time where we were number two, and I was like, no, not happening. We're going to get back to number one. And we did at the very end. We got back to number one. But it just demonstrates how important and how big this could be for our community. And we are cautiously optimistic. We won't know until November 15th whether we've been one of the 10 award winners, but we are cautiously optimistic, and we are looking forward to potentially getting this grant and putting on 30 total free concerts for people out on the downtown strip.
Yeah. And, I think this opportunity is something that kind of illustrates what HDR does with the community so well. And, we have so many connections with people who live and work here that all the good ideas do not and should not come from just our team, that community members can come to us and say, hey, I've got this idea. What do y'all think? And sometimes we can offer resources. Sometimes we can partner. And in this case, we realized putting on 10 concerts in back-to-back weeks was going to be a lot of work for us. And so we said, we love it, but I just don't know how we would take it on with our festival schedule. That would also mean for 10 weeks in the summer, no one on our team could take a vacation. That's not good for our quality of life and staff retention. And Jeremiah said he's the person who helps produce the Red Ring Festival every year in Mount Solon. And he's like, I'll be part of the committee. We'll get a bunch of volunteers. I'll teach them how to do this work, how to work with band managers and how to bring them on and how to do this festival. And so knowing that he's a big volunteer on this team is the only way we're going to make this happen.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It is cool.
Yeah. That is really exciting. So you answered the question. When will we know? Very soon.
Yeah.
Very soon.
Yeah. We can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Another thing that I think is really fun about the potential to get this grant is that one of our missions is to be the welcoming city. And with the grant, it'll allow us to have money set that we can specifically put towards having an American Sign Language interpreter at the potential concerts if we have them, knock on wood. So we're really trying to think of ways every day to make sure that whether it's a festival or a new idea, that we're welcoming to all, no matter who's coming downtown, and to keep that in the forefront of our process of thinking of how this will run in the operation. So I'm really excited about that part.
Yeah, we would also hypothetically, if we got this grant, have a section where people who use wheelchairs will be able to come into this grassy area that we're going to have it. So one of our newer initiatives that we're starting to work on right now is trying to figure out how we can make downtown more welcoming for people with physical disabilities. And we have a fellow at JMU who is helping us do some research and do some focus groups. And we're hoping we can write some grants and get some things to really come together so we can help the businesses be more welcoming and ourselves too through this event. And also others that Jennifer works on. We have a volunteer who said that she works with children with autism and can help us figure this out to make a low sensory zone at some of our events.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is absolutely amazing. Gosh, there's a JMU's community is coordinating and collaborating more with you, it seems like, too, right now.
Partner. They always have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of resources in, our backyard with JMU right across the way. And the talent that they have at that university is insurmountable. It's unbelievable. So I'm glad to hear that. That's very exciting. You guys are bringing the smiles to people's faces is what you're doing. And I'm all about the laughing and having fun, as you know. So we must talk about this other project you've got going that's relatively new, and that is the Committee of Joy. What is the Committee of Joy?
Well, the Committee of Joy definitely brings a lot of fun to the people who are volunteering. We were trying to look at ways to revamp our volunteer program, and one of the ways we're going to do that is with this Committee of Joy. So it's pure volunteers. It's people who are interested in implementing a project downtown. So we put out the call of, hey, if you're interested in helping with a project that you come up with and can help organize, we'll help give you the resources. So the volunteers met here at the office, and HDR, one of our board members, has been awesome to help lead them. And HDR presented that we'll help you with funding. We have $5,000 set aside for your project, and we can help be a liaison or help with paperwork or help make connections. But this is your project. We want you to have ownership on it. We want you to run it. We want you to implement it. And so it's not on staff's plate in the sense of it's not something that's our project, because we really want it to be something that the community wants to see and wants to have. So there's been ideas, everything from music busking to using one of the empty storefronts to show off some art from different children to adults to antique collections. There's also been the idea of the miniature scenes that have been glued onto the sidewalks to have some more of those art installations pop up. There's been ideas about art installation incorporating music into that. So just a ton of fun of ideas. And the committee has broke off into a few different groups to really hone in on the idea and start the process of how to implement it. So HDR is backing them the entire way and giving them support. But it's really their project, and it's for the community, by the community, which is really exciting.
I love in the tiny village. I think that's what you called it, little tiny village.
Yes.
I saw one of them on that little alleyway that you recently did a beautification project, downtown. And that's kind of between the, what's the street I'm thinking of with not Mason's. Yeah. It's Water Street, between Water Street and where the theater is. There's an alleyway there. And that's where I saw one of the little tiny villages. I stopped and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cute.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole idea is to have moments that are just like joyful, where it's like unexpected. So I think those really kind of hit home what we were trying to do with that committee.
Yeah, and it's also provided us a good volunteer base for other committees and other things that we want to do downtown, because this is like a concentrated group of people who are excited about bringing joy to downtown. And so tonight I have a meeting for a Liberty Street Winter Wonderfest activation committee, and we invited Committee of Joy members to join that committee, and I have a few coming. So just how we can make Liberty Street a destination during a large festival that's mostly concentrated to Main Street and Court Square. So cool stuff like that.
That's really cool. What kind of members did you say are coming tonight?
Committee of Joy members.
Committee of Joy members.
But, yeah, a lot of Liberty Street business owners and other volunteers from our network.
Who makes those little tiny villages? Who makes those?
It is one of our Committee of Joy members. So he actually came to our meetings. And so yeah, I'm the person who does that. We're like, what? It's you? It was like meeting a celebrity. We were just like, we're like, we love them. But yeah, he joined our meeting because a lot of people have been taking them down because they weren't sanctioned. So he's trying to make it so they're more sanctioned and intentional, and people know where to find them and things like that. So hopefully that works out this year with the Committee of Joy.
Yes, I hope that works out too, because I really enjoy them. I didn't know who put these out there. These are so creative. It's really great. You also provide small business assistance and grants and make them available to people that want to do or have business downtown. How best can entrepreneurs find out more about this? And can you tell us more about them?
Yeah, so the first criteria is that you actually have to be located in downtown Harrisonburg. So,
Big one.
so that's a big selling point of why you locate here. because you have a whole cool list of support programs just waiting for you to access. So we pretty much have the email addresses of the managers and business owners in town, and we send it out that way. We have it on social media or our newsletter. So we get the word out, and yeah, we have a couple of programs. One we're doing, actually I had a meeting this morning to work with a volunteer selection committee to select our facade enhancement grant award winners this year. So we'll have $15,000 in grant money that we can put into design improvements for our buildings. And we have something called Bricks and Clicks, which we actually won a state award for. We work in partnership with the city's economic development department and also the Small Business Development Center to bring intentional expertise to businesses that have a particular challenge or an opportunity they want to take advantage of, by matching them up with a consultant, or perhaps it's Emily, who knows all about marketing. She can teach them how to do things that they're unsure of how to do, or plan a strategy with marketing. Grace has actually gone out to talk to a restaurant owner to help them because she's got a hospitality background. So we get really crafty with how we can figure out who can help them. And then we give them a small grant so they can put those ideas into action. And we've been running this program since 2017. And in that time, we've only had about 2 of the businesses who we've helped close, which I think is a great retention number. So it's a lot of fun, and we call it Bricks and Clicks because we can help your physical destination, or we can help your virtual presence. So whatever we can do to make your business that physical or virtual destination we want to do, because that helps you bring in customers and have sales.
That's great. Yeah. And the information is, like you said, throughout social media and on your website if entrepreneurs want to connect with you.
Yep. And direct email. So if they're located in downtown, as long as they're on my email list, they'll never miss any opportunity because it'll always be right in front of them.
That's great. Yeah, you guys have lots of plans. There's some big plans, future plans for downtown with the downtown master plan. Can you talk on some of the highlights and the timeline of this downtown master plan?
Yeah, so it's called the Downtown 2040 Plan. So we've got, a good 20 years to put these recommendations into action. Luckily, this isn't HDR's only plan. It's the community's plan. So this is something that the city is using. It's something that we're using, our partners, the businesses, the property owners. So everyone's coming together to help realize the vision that the community established through this process. So we had a year-long process where we asked for a lot of feedback from community members. So they created the vision. We have it codified in this plan, and now we follow these recommendations. So while everything doesn't have to happen tomorrow, and we certainly couldn't afford to do that, we're already implementing a lot of the recommendations. So when we were talking about the Levitt Amp City grant program, we had a lot of people tell us that they wanted to have more activities and entertainment downtown. So that was one of the things that we can do to help achieve that goal. And we have a big installation, a sculptural installation project that is underway right now with the city and the Arts Council of the Valley and HDR to put something on the north end of town. So it'll be a gateway artistic welcome when you're coming from that direction, which will be really cool. We want to take away a lane of traffic so we can have a dedicated bike lane and more space for people to walk. Yeah. So we're really excited about the fact that the city has already applied for a grant to get funding for that, because that's not a project we would do. That's a city project, and they're on board too. So just a lot that we get to just kind of make happen over 20 years. Hopefully not longer, but
20 years. You can do it. We can do it. You got this. I think
20 years. Yeah.
Yeah. 20 years. It's enough time. I believe it will happen. It's amazing. I like what I'm seeing too with some of the plans and pictures of what's to come. It's truly exciting. So you guys, it's a lot, and you need a lot to make it all happen. So right now, mentioned a little bit earlier, you've got the Back the Burg campaign to sustain this momentum created in 2022 and create a vibrant future for downtown Harrisonburg. You have great testimonials of the impact of your work to support these businesses that bring so much to our residents that live here and our visitors that come to the Valley. Can you speak more on how you're able to help the businesses and how Laughers can become a friend of downtown?
Yes, I would love to tell you about that. The Friend of Downtown program is our end of year giving campaign, and we invite the community to invest in our downtown. As you've heard, the depth of our work stretches every corner of downtown, whether it's the stakeholder business owner or the stakeholder of the community. We can't do our work without the funds from the Friend of Downtown campaign. So we ask the community to make an investment, whether it's $5 up to 100, 500, 1,000. However, if you have the ability to invest in your downtown, the return on your investment is going to be tangible and intangible. You'll be able to be at the festivals and see the fun atmosphere and feel that. And also see the thriving business owners and see new businesses coming in and seeing entrepreneurs fulfill their dreams and have a successful business. And then you'll be able to share that with your family and friends that are visiting. So it's the campaign to let people know the successes that we've had and to let them know the projects that we want to accomplish in 2023 all the way up to 2040 on. So with your investment in the downtown, we're able to complete all our works with the 4-point approach, pulling off all the projects, whether it's giving a grant to a young entrepreneur or it's putting on Sip and Stroll for the festival. So the unrestricted funds really help us achieve the goals. And we have an aggressive work plan for a reason, because we also are so passionate about our work and we want to make the downtown as best as it can be. So we're really excited about this end of year program or end of year campaign rather for the Friend of Downtown. And like Emily was saying earlier, just hearing the feedback from the business owners, how whether it's a Bricks and Cricks grant that they've gotten help with, or hearing from a community member who's volunteered at the, for example, the community of Frenda at Skeleton Fest, hearing the impact that HDR has had on her community. Having that, it's all just so heartwarming, and it makes us happy to come into work every day. So we can't do it without the support of the community. So every dollar is put to great use, and we are thankful for any way that people can support. And it's okay if you don't have the funds. If you'd rather volunteer your time, that's a huge investment as well. So volunteers are always needed, whether it's a small event or a big event. So investing your time with our team, I can guarantee you'll have a good time with us because we're pretty fun ourselves. But it doesn't have to be about the dollars. It can be about the time too. So if you'd like to be a friend of downtown at an event, volunteering your time, we'd be happy to have you and show off our fun downtown. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. If people want to give, they go onto your website. How is the best way to be able to do that?
So you can find information about the Back to Burg campaign and Friends of Downtown. It's downtownharrisonburg.org/friends. We are also doing a couple fun giveaways. So folks who donate $25 or more, they can get a really cool custom limited edition coaster. And we're also doing a giveaway from Hugo Cole. He has gifted us a buckle bracelet, which is really beautiful, as well as some gift cards from El Paisano Bakery. So we'll have those. But all the information, like I said, is downtownharrisonburg.org/friends. Find all that there.
That's great. Do you have a particular financial goal that you guys are targeting for this campaign?
We're just happy with whatever we get. We have a goal. I mean, it's hard to know how inflation will impact giving to nonprofits this year. We're hopeful that we are showing that we have a good ROI and we've got some good plans. But we're subject to turn of economic events in our nation. So we'll see how it goes, but fingers crossed that we get a lot of support and have enough to do all the things that we want to do.
Yes, very much so. For laughers out there that may never have heard the phrase ROI, what does that stand for?
Return on investment.
There you go. Yeah, I know. I thought I should have known that a couple of years ago, but I didn't. So I figured
it's worth asking.
Right.
We also throw around R&D around here, which a lot of companies call research and development, but we call it rip off and duplicate because sometimes the best ideas have already been done by somebody else, and why reinvent the wheel? So it's good that you ask, because you never know what we're going to say it actually is.
Right. And this puts us all on the same page. I love it. Well, as we wrap up here, can you share with the laughers how they can follow HDR on social media or otherwise to get more information?
Sure can. So,
Emily.
This is my baby. So, our website is downtownharrisonburg.org. It's like the hub of all our information. But we are also on Facebook. We're under Harrisonburg Downtown Renaissance. On Instagram, we are at Downtown Harrisonburg. And I think the best way I always tell people, if you really want to know what's going on downtown, really, you should subscribe to our newsletter. It's the Downtown Insider. And you can find a link to subscribe on our website at downtownharrisonburg.org. So definitely follow us there. We have so much good information about things happening pretty much every weekend. There is something happening downtown. There's always new businesses popping up, and that's where we put a lot of our information, and it goes right to your inbox, so you don't miss it.
Love it. That's really great. And laughers, we'll be sure to put this information for you in the show notes as well. Thank you, Andrea, Emily, Jennifer, and Grace. This has been super fun chatting with you today on all things Harrisonburg Downtown Renaissance. Thank you all again so much for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Laughers, be sure that you check out the next free Downtown Festival, Winter Wonderfest, on December 3rd from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And the city is doing the holiday parade and tree lighting starting at 7 p.m. Also that day, they offer the cookie tour, a town favorite. And throughout the year, they have a lot going on downtown. So to learn more about HDR and how you can get involved, be sure to visit that website, downtownharrisonburg.org. That's downtownharrisonburg.org for more info on what you can experience downtown, their annual events, grants, sponsorships, how to become a friend of downtown, and much, much more. And lastly, and most importantly, thanks for tuning in, laughers. Out of all the podcasts out there, you picked us, and we think that's pretty darn special, just like you. Until next time, keep smiling. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. We'll be dropping a new podcast every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so check back for another uplifting episode. Come to an X2 Comedy show or let us bring a show to you. To find out more, head to x2comedy.com. Be sure to share us with a friend. Until next time, cheers.